Welcome to our July webinar. And y'all join us in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from. Tell us what you're binging these days. I was thinking about watching Hunting Wives. I'm currently binging Bachelor in Paradise. Bobby, what are you watching these days?
I am watching a Colombian show called Rich Man, Poor Man. I don't know if you've
I've
seen it,
not
but it's in
heard of that.
Spanish. It's about two brothers that got separated at birth, and they are two people that got separated at birth, and they one grows up poor, one grows up rich, and they switch lives when they're in their 30s. So
Okay,
that's what I'm
good.
into these days. And obviously Adam Sandler, the Happy Gilmore too.
I am dying to watch it because I know DeChambeau's in it and I'm a huge fan. So,
I've watched it 3 times already. My son
oh
loves it.
wow.
It's a great movie.
Vince, have you seen it?
Yeah,
Happy
I did
Gilmore?
watch it. It was good. I mean, obviously nothing's going to touch the first Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
They just brought back or they brought all the professional golfers in.
Yeah.
It's star-studded, full of stars. It's great. It's Happy Gilmore humor for sure. It was
I
good.
Yeah,
cannot wait. And Bachelor in Paradise has the Goldens on it, the old peeps. That's why I'm watching it. And Frank knows how much I absolutely love the Golden Bachelor
Yeah,
series.
and that one really worked well, didn't it? That Golden Bachelor. I think didn't
They
they?
were married for like 3 months.
Yeah, wow. That that's even shorter than some of my marriages. I mean,
oh, we got to hear about that before we get off here.
Oh, this is
no,
gonna
no, we
be
don't.
this is gonna be a lot of fun today. I'm so
That's
excited.
great.
All right, guys, let's jump in because this hour is going to go by so quickly. We have four amazing school owners here with us today. And we even brought in someone who's not a beauty school owner because I know we're starting to get so many people to sign up for these things that are not in the beauty industry. So for starters, for you smaller school owners that are family owned, we have Vince. And Vince is second generation, right? Second generation school owner here.
Second generation. Yep.
Yes, his mom is the gorgeous Stacey James. So they own Stacey James too. She's like a star. She's like 6 feet tall. She's so
She
pretty.
is. People ask me
Uh,
if she's my wife all the time. And it's really awkward. It's awkward for them when I'm
that is
like, no,
awkward.
she's my mom. She's my mom.
I love it. And so now Vince is the president of the schools, and they have a couple locations. They're also a client of ours. We love them. ET, which a lot of people know, yes, from Vogue, but I would say mostly from Edman. Edman, is that what you would say?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, ET and I have known each other for, I don't even know, 15 years, something like that. But he is president of 5 schools in Texas, but he also comes with a vast background in consulting, mostly in accreditation and compliance. Would that be
Yeah,
correct?
mostly. We do pretty much everything, but I used to work at NACA, so that's, how it
Also
started.
where people know you from. Awesome. And he's going to be in Vegas with me
I
in
will.
September for NACAS.
Viva
Um,
Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're all going to be at the blackjack table, Frank. So you better come and join us. That'll be good. We also have Bobby Bonds or Robert Bonds.
That's
And
me.
Bobby, you are our non-beauty school person here. I know that you own or you run several schools, mostly in what fields?
Yeah, no, we own well, we know 9 schools in Texas, Florida, and we run a school in Wheeling, West Virginia. Mostly all of it is nursing, EMT, paramedic, and healthcare. So we're fully healthcare. But it's me and my 2 partners. We're just, scrap our money together and try to help schools. That's what we do.
We
Awesome. And Bobby and I bonded because when the Titanic submersible was, missing, we were at a CQ convention and no one else was talking about it but us. We were like obsessed with it. And so we became friends in that area. And then I have the star of the show, the biggest school owner on here, the biggest chain left in America because Frank, they all shut down. What happened to them? The biggest chain left is
we're
Empire
bad
Beauty
boys.
School. And we have 74 locations, and he is the CEO and chair, president. No, Kyle's president now. What is your title now?
I am CEO.
CEO. Okay, awesome.
And
We're
Bill,
so grateful to have you, Frank.
nice to be here. I'm
I
honored.
cannot wait to learn from all
I'm
of you.
mostly I'm mostly here to learn from these other guys that are on this.
We got a great panel, and we also want to learn from all of you. So jump in the chat if we're going to be talking about things that, like, you want to ask them a different question, that's fine. I'm going to tell you what we're going to be covering today, okay? So we're going to go over a few main topics. We're going to start with hiring and staff retention. It's a big problem right now in beauty schools. Costs are going up, so we're going to talk a little bit about the economy and costs. And then we're going to talk specifically about enrollment and how that is affecting everyone today. My last topic is a bunch of random burning questions, but we also want to answer your questions. So get in the chat. And honestly, if I ask a question and you have an answer to it, because I know there's lots of owners on here, let's all learn from each other. Please jump in the chat and answer the questions yourself. Okay, so we are going to start out with what is going on in the hiring world. I want to hear from you, ET, when it comes to attracting quality educators, because right now it's super competitive. You are in a state in Texas where there is a beauty school on every corner right next to Starbucks. So how are you guys dealing with this competitive market and educators jumping and going back behind the chair? What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, it's a totally different world than it was maybe even 5 years ago. The sort of dedication to the longevity of an employer, that sort of loyalty, I think it really isn't there anymore. So I think people feel the freedom to move around quite a bit more. One of the things that has been somewhat successful for us, although I can't say that this is the answer to all questions, is just really the varying of schedules. Gone are the days where, somebody is an educator 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. I mean, that's great. And that worked for a really long time. But a lot of people in our industry want to do both. They want to be behind the chair. They want to be in their spa because they make a lot of money doing that. And so figuring out a way with your curricular and programmatic offerings to like vary schedules and have part-time people is it's helping. Sort of relaxing your business model and saying, okay, I don't need a 40-hour week employee to cover this class always. It could be two
Yeah.
part-time people. That's really helping because then those teachers, those educators can still be behind the chair, whatever they
Yeah,
want.
they can make their money behind the chair and then they can do something like that. Frank, what is Empire? I mean, you guys have so many locations. Surely you have teachers that have been there forever, but probably a lot of turnover, unless I'm wrong. What are you guys doing? What are you seeing?
You're talking about the hardest job I think every one of us that are school owners have by far. Uh, the thing, I mean, we obviously use the traditional models, LinkedIn and all the various platforms. But what we've also had to do is in our case, so you can't apply all of our stuff to your school. But I'm glad to tell you all about it. We had to create a recruitment department, and that's all they do. And they're on the phone constantly. And they're trying to pre-screen in a positive way while they're recruiting. And the bottom line, it's all about what's helped us, and turnover has really shrunken because two things we pay attention to a lot: exit interviews, really digging in and finding out why'd you really leave, and for how much did you leave. And it rarely can be their boss that asks that question. It's got to be somebody else because as we all know, people come for the organization and what we do, and they do the same thing for your school, but they leave usually because of their boss. And it could be you, it could be one of your people that don't have your values and your culture. So what we've really done is we've increased the quality of our interviews. So we double down on training our people on interviews, and we always have at least two interviews. And we check track records, how'd you do on that interview, et cetera. And we critique them because we record them like Jen's recording this. So I'm just giving you our way of doing things, but it's really helped. The big gorilla on that we got to talk about at some point is what are we going to do about the dollars? Because
We are going to talk about that. Yeah, we will get to that during the cost section, but you're right. That's the biggest
brought it
problem.
up, and he's absolutely right. That's exactly they're making money out there, and he sounds like he really has a great idea here about this part-time teacher. Not easy to coordinate it. That's got to quadruple your planning in curriculum and everything else. But I'm impressed with that.
It
I'm gonna,
does. I mean, there's no question. There's a big time investment to be able to do it for sure.
But
yeah,
I'm impressed. I'd like to learn
yeah.
more about it.
That is really good. What about you, Vince? Are you guys facing now? You only have a couple schools, so do you have the same old teachers that have been there forever, or are you guys also seeing turnover?
Oh yeah. So I think every like entry level position in the company is going to face some type of turnover if you're not consistently thinking about how to improve retention, right? In educators, admissions, front desk, until they get to like some type of like supervisory role or leadership role where they're more locked in and more solid and feel like they can grow. We have to do that with entry level positions, right? So as far as us, really, like Frank is totally right. The interview process, people rarely leave jobs for money, what I've found. And so we're talking a lot about cost and money and how we're going to pay these people. But like when I'm interviewing people and I ask, why'd you leave and why are you looking for something new? Top three are I hate my boss, I didn't feel seen, heard, or appreciated, and I hit a ceiling and I can't grow anymore. Like I want to grow into something else and I really feel like I'm stuck, right? And then number four is probably like culture and energy and environment was bad, or management changed, or I got a new boss and I didn't like it, or it's rarely about money, right? We've made good hires that took pay cuts to come. But yeah. So always trying to like figure out those things. And then to add on top of what Frank says in the interview process, um, we'll do two interviews, and then as a final interview, we'll bring in our people with it. So whoever's in that department, I'll pick like two or three people that I have within that department and take them out to lunch or
Mhm.
take them to Top Golf or so it's like I really want to get a good gauge on this person and I don't want just my eyes or my partner's eyes on it. I want my people's eyes too. Just talk to them about anything besides work, get them to open up a little bit and tell me, do you really like working with this person? Do you feel like you could have a good conversation or possibly hang out with this person outside of work? Maybe not. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I want to hear my people's opinions too. And so giving them a company card to go out to lunch and get a feel for them. That
I
that's
like that.
that's
Let's
helped
just
a
kind of
lot.
like put their guard down, see if they're team Backstreet Boys or team NSYNC. Like that's what to
How to
me,
work that in there, didn't you?
those are my questions that I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, because they're gonna know that yes, it's still somewhat of an interview, but the
Yeah.
goal of that lunch is to talk about anything and everything besides work.
I
Right.
agree. So Bobby,
Yeah.
let me ask you because someone in our chat said honestly what I've been saying. Elaine Sterling just brings this up. She says, sometimes students want the consistency, and what we are seeing today in schools is retention issues. Students are like not showing up for class. They're dropping. Their attendance isn't great. How important is it to you to find people that can stay in positions so that it doesn't hurt retention?
So I always say that, the diploma that you give is only as good as the people providing it, right? Uh, you call it whatever you want, but the people that are behind the textbooks, the classroom, all of that is what makes a school great. We've seen so many for profits that go through change of hands, and a great example is FCC, right? FCC. If you talk to anybody that worked for the owners of FCC back in the early 20s, the 90s, they loved their job. I mean, they loved it. And then later on, it's lost its way a little bit. So yeah, the people are exactly what drives it, and that good faculty member can make or break you. That good faculty member, if she loves you, or I get a lot of female instructors, but if they love you, they're going to be your Pied Piper. They're going to be the people that the students follow. If she hates you, she's going to go to your competitor and take all your students with you. And
Yeah.
so it's beyond important. And just one thing I wanted to say about what you guys were talking about earlier. I read books like crazy. I read the craziest books. I read Matthew Perry's book. I read Will Smith's book. I'm always reading somebody's book to try to learn a different angle. And I read John Taffer's book. It's called Raising the Bar. And he talks about the way he used to hire is he would always make it exciting and make it be something that people really wanted to go after. And I do that a lot when I talk about hiring with my people. people want to come and work for us because they see what we're doing on social media. They want to be a part of that excitement. They want to be a part of that growth. And so we showcase that for a reason, and it attracts great people.
Yeah. And you're social. I mean, you guys might not know this, but I follow Bobby on social and he is so exciting, the things he does with his school. I can tell you my favorite is your little series in the car with Robert.
That is good. And I promoted that young girl, and she's not my photographer anymore. So I lost her. She's in sales now. So anybody that
He's
goes to
like in
FAFSA, you're
the
going to
car,
meet
y'all,
Libs.
like with a dash cam basically, and he's like interviewing and talking to people. And I just think it makes your school like fun and relatable. Like I want to go, like honestly, like if I lose my job, Bobby, I'm calling
Yeah,
you. Like
let's go.
you
Yeah, there's
seem
a lot
like
of
you have,
travel.
it looks like it's just so fun over there. And I love that you said
Yeah.
that. I do want to talk about, let me just mute you really quick, Bobby, just because of the background noise. Okay, so when it comes to, let's talk about what Frank brought up earlier, because it is the elephant in the room and it is what everyone talks about. And it was the number one topic last year at AACS when I went. And that's what we're paying the teachers. And I'm not asking you to share what you're paying unless you want to. I would not recommend that, just given the different types of people on this call. But what I would like to hear from you is what other things are you doing? Is there training? Is there Fridays off? Is there, like ET says, part-time schedule? What are we doing to compensate these teachers? Ideas. What are y'all doing?
You mind if I go first?
Go for it.
The idea of the 40-hour work week, the 9 to 5, to me is kind of out the window. When I find somebody that's great, like I want to keep them, I want to make them happy. I never want to make sure that somebody can't attend their kid's t-ball game or somebody can't, attend to their wife after they have surgery. I want to make sure they have that flexibility. And my best example to that is I have this instructor, Dr. Peterson, and every Wednesday morning she has a 10 a.m. tennis lesson. Every single Wednesday she has a 10 a.m. tennis lesson. So I know on Wednesdays I'm not going to see this girl until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But that's okay because I know she always goes above and beyond for me when she is in the office.
Love it. I think that's great. So it's really giving, you are looking at flexibility because you know people value that. What about you, ET? What are you guys doing?
I mean, I definitely agree. On the same note, to try to encourage your entire staff to really be a team, so that that flexibility can come in and one of your, colleagues will say, "Oh, I'll cover that class for you. You have to do this thing." And if you sort of empower them to work those things out amongst themselves, that helps sometimes rather than it just be a directive from leadership. You get the buy-in from them personally, and then you find that things get covered and whatnot. We do find recognizing employees just for little things here and there are great. The owner of Vogue is committed to celebrating birthdays, celebrating work anniversaries, teacher appreciation days, randomly just sending them lunch at one of our locations, stuff like that. It's the little stuff that does make a difference.
I really like that you said that because it is just the small little things you can do. It's funny, y'all know I create stuff on TikTok, and one of the companies that I create for sent me a trophy, and I just thought it was kind of stupid. I was like, cash would have been better. But then when I really thought of it, I'm like, this is like actually really sweet. It said like top, like number one seller. I was their top seller of Mother of the Bride dresses for the first 2 quarters. And I literally put, I know it's stupid. I'm like in my 30s and I'm selling Mother of the Bride dresses. Anyway, long story short, I have this like trophy sitting in my room on my dresser, and I look at it every day while I'm like doing TikToks. And I just thought, how sweet of a company to like take their time to create that for me, mail it to me. And why don't we do that in schools more often? Like a trophy, some sort of record. It doesn't have to be a giant raise. It really can be little things like that. Vince, what do you do for your staff to make them feel important?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. To piggyback there, recognition is huge. Even though people say, I don't care, you don't need to give me recognition, I don't care. It's like, no, no, no. Subconsciously, everybody loves to be recognized, even everybody
Yeah.
on this call. So we take time in our meetings, our staff meetings before our morning rah-rahs to give recognition to staff. And then big recognition. And so we hold one teacher in service every single month. The first Monday of every month, we do a teacher in service. Students are off, and we do huge recognition there. We announce promotions there.
Hmm.
We really go big, and it's not just from me and my partner or Stacy. It's from other people in the company too, other educators will be like, hey, recognize this person for what they did for you. So that really helps. Your original question though, based on salary, I'll just end here. Like, what do we pay and how do we do it? So I always tell people, I'm very vocal with it, that you don't get a pay raise or a promotion because you're here for a long time or because of seniority. It's all based on value add, right? It's like the quicker you can add value or the more value you can add, the quicker you'll get a promotion or a raise. It's just as simple as that. Like I regularly as an owner try to think about my entire staff and ask myself, okay, how big of a deal would it be if this person left tomorrow? How big of a deal would that be for me? And if it was a big deal, like, yeah, no, I probably can't allow that to happen because I'd be in a tight spot. Then they probably deserve some more money. Do you know what I mean? Not all the times, but if they could go and look for another job somewhere else and get paid for their value, then I probably should reward that value. And if you overcome that objection, if you will, before it comes up, before they ask for the raise, like, hey, I've done this, this, and this, can I get a raise? And you recognize their value and you give it to them before they ask for it, that goes long ways, long ways.
That's a good point. And actually, the thing you brought up, which is maybe a little off topic, when you think about an instructor leaving and if it's a catastrophic situation, I've been reminded several times in the past couple of years that when you find one of your educators, departure would be catastrophic, it means you needed to cross-train somebody else, right? You can't have your entire business model hinge on one particular individual.
Holding
So
handcuffs.
in addition to recognizing that person and making sure that they feel loved and warm and, all of that stuff, it also means, oh my gosh, we have to make sure that we can
Find a
cover the
backup.
space if it does happen.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Never have somebody have golden handcuffs on you. Yes, reward that, but you want to reward value and keep good because it's so hard nowadays to find good people, right?
It's going to be harder to find someone new. You might as well just give the people who are adding value either a raise or some
100%.
sort of extra incentive. Frank, what about you guys? You have so many schools. Are you having just to across the board be like across the board, everyone's going to get paid more, or can you be very intentional with specific people in each campus? How do you guys address that?
The problem with us is we're in big cities. I'm in New York City. And I go through the whole list. We're in 21 states, and I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, I'm complaining if anything I'm doing here. But what we have to do is be consistent, but we can experiment. And those of you who have multiple schools don't always have that ability. If it's nearby, they're going to talk to each other. So the things that we really do is one, the training, we've really gone overboard with training. We have a lot more training folks in the education department, also in the admissions department. We really go whole hog on training and try to do it right. And I'm not suggesting we're doing it all right. We try. But one of the things you can do, I'll give you an example, and all of you should, I don't know, you can take something from this or not, but we had a state where it got particularly competitive between the school owners, and really competitive, as in stealing people for $1, $2, and it really, and the teachers know how to play this as well, and I don't blame them. It's their income. So we did something really radical, and I just said, I'm tired of this. So, and this just happened last year, and I won't tell you the state because I don't want you to know exactly, who kind of annoys me. But
Spill the tea, Frank. Spill the tea.
the guy, no, but the guys are great. I don't call them my competitors or my friends. We work together politically. And anyway, the bottom line is I just went in and said, screw it. And I came up with a really hard came up with a monument number that was in most cases $6 to $7 more per hour. And you're going to think, what an idiot you are. And we did it in all those schools because I had to deal with 1,000 employees. So in that state, and I'll just say real quick, maybe 40, 35, maybe people in that state, most of whom are teachers, got a very substantial pay raise. Now, And you're going to say, well, that's just idiotic. Now, we didn't give pay raises to the really good ones or to the really bad ones. The
Right.
ones that were already on a plan or whatever the case might be, sorry, they didn't get that pay raise. And we talked to them, and this is what you can get. And then, to be honest, I say, get those people out of my school, get them out of the school, because at the much higher number, with a just use your imagination, with a one more digit on the left column per hour, it really made a difference. And we're experimenting now in another state, and I think we may end up doing something like this. But I'm now screwing my colleagues, my competitors. I don't want to do that. I just want our people to stay. I don't want people robbing them.
But
And
that's historically what's happened, Frank. Like,
right,
right? Like you've been around for a while. You know how it is. Like people have always just go to the competitor,
business
steal their person, steal their
and
admission.
business is business. I totally
Yeah.
respect that. A couple other things, and guys, these guys are doing it. I hope everybody on the call is doing this. But every single colleague in this company gets a birthday card from me, uh, an electronic birthday card. And oh, by the way, when they thank me and say, "Wow, that was really nice," I send them a personal note back and saying, "It's really my pleasure. I hope you really had a great day," all that kind of stuff. Anniversary cards, really successful stuff when I do this. But it's not just for the 5 and 10 and 20 year kind of anniversary. I do it for everybody every freaking year.
Mm.
So it's a big event that it's your 7th anniversary. And then again, they'll thank me because the first one is a generic card. And then it comes back, and then I get to really elaborate and say, I really thank you for those 7 incredible years of touching lives. And that really endears them to the company. And I
Yeah.
think, and by the way, I think ET said this, but we do, oh, I'm sorry, or was it Bobby? I'm sorry. But the bottom line is we do every 3 weeks, we do an in-service day, shut the schools down. And then we have different channels for if you're a career person, or if you're a teacher, if you're a manager, all of them get different channels of what they do on their what we call professional development day.
Yeah.
But I think all of those things, and I agree with you. We used to give tchotchkes out for that for different levels, and I will tell you for mainly for staying with us for so many years. The problem with that is then you got a shelf full of tchotchkes. Here's your, but we do it for 5, 10, 15, 20,
That
etc.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
works.
but
And
it's a way to recognize and for them to talk to me. One final thing is
yeah.
if you have more than one school, it really helps. If you can do multiple people on a call, on a Zoom call. Zoom's a wonderful thing for us. But if you can get them on a Zoom call, you can buy their lunch and they can be at a different location and you have lunch together, and it works. Uh,
Love it.
and then the whole purpose of that is, and you're the teacher of the region and all that stuff. We sit and talk, and I just ask questions. I said, just tell me, how can we be better? I've gotten more really great ideas from our educators to improve our education. So there's so many things, but I think our common thing here is I think we're all saying the same thing, guys, and that is recognize your educators, recognize your admissions people. You can't give them any more money. It really sucks and we should talk about that separately, Jen. I think
Yeah, I mean, listen, y'all are very down to earth to be running schools like you guys are and still take the time to have lunch, to
you
meet
have
with your
to.
educators one-on-one. It really does make a giant
We're all
difference.
saying the same thing here.
Yeah, I think that's great. I wanted because costs are so, I mean, again, inflation's up. I mean, it's very expensive to live. The other day I saw a stat that to compare minimum wage in the age of boomers to today, you'd have to make $66 an hour. I mean, it's absolutely insane how, minimum wage is just barely going up and people can barely make it. I do want to talk about other things that it's affecting, and that's the cost of getting leads. The cost of marketing is going up. And I say that having, work at a marketing company. By the way, our cost of leads have not gone up. Beauty Schools Directory is always the same.
Oh, here's Jen's sales pitch.
Plugs,
Here she
nice
goes.
plug.
There we
Go
go.
ahead, Jen.
There we go. She had to
Here
put
comes
it
the
in.
sales.
For that.
I'm surprised you don't have a
That's great.
graphic like the more you know NBC shooting star thing.
It's actually funny because everyone will know if they come on our webinars.
This webinar is brought to you by
I
Beauty
am
Tools
not
Marketing Group.
I do want to hear from you guys though, marketing wise. Surely y'all are spending more today. I mean, SEO is like really starting to tank for schools. People are getting less traffic to their website because of Chat GPT answering questions, because of AI answers, because of Google algorithm updates, and because of TikTok, people going there to search. It is hurting people. People are having to spend more money now on things like Google but now everyone's spending more money on Google. So now the cost per lead is going up. I want to hear from y'all. What are you doing? Have your marketing costs gone up? And are there new areas you're spending in that you didn't have to before? Bobby, let's hear from you. What are y'all doing?
I'm a completely different person than most people. I think every marketing company that I work with or that comes to me that just thinks I'm nuts because I do spend a lot of time on social. I spend a lot of time and money on social. Where we encourage our people to get out there, the entire company, we encourage the entire company to get out there and get on social. We literally had an all team meeting this morning and we said, look, if you want to help us, and you think you have a good marketing idea, go ahead and film it. We might not post it all, but go ahead and film it. And then always like, share, comment. That always is going to help us drive it. Um, and then the second thing I always try to tell them, because we spend a lot of time on social. I spend more money on social than I do Google. That's
Can you
typically
pause right there
not.
just for a second? Because this is unlike beauty schools, just so you know. And this is what I always say, that beauty schools kind of are in their own bucket doing their own thing. It's so nice having a perspective of you coming on, Bobby, because I can tell you right now, schools are not investing in social. And they're not investing in it usually because the ROI isn't always there with paid ads. But you guys are doing it from an organic perspective too, correct?
We do we spend a lot of time on organic. We try to so there's a few things that I do differently. Number one is I encourage my business leaders to be the leader of the community and not the jester, right? So they're not out there making dancing TikToks, but they're making videos that shows them as the business unit leader, and then they become known as that business unit leader in the community. And so if you follow any of my brands, American Healthcare Institute, Complement Vocational Careers, Faith Academy, Orlando Medical Institute. Those are all Wheeling University. Um, these are all of our brands, and the people that run the school is who's the ones that are on the social. It's just not all me out there. So we really try to make sure that they become like a little celebrity in their community.
So
Is one of
smart.
the things that we try to do. Um, and then the last thing I'll say is what we do with social. And I just posted a video about this yesterday and it might be silly to some people, but if anybody's ever heard of the salty donut is one of the fastest growing food chains in the U.S.
Oh, crap.
Yeah,
He is in Bogota, Colombia.
yeah.
Columbia, it's gonna be rough.
All
Somebody
right,
doesn't
guys.
like salty donuts.
I definitely want to hear the rest of that story, but that is interesting though, because I feel like I've been screaming for 5 years to schools. Organic social is going to be the future of marketing. Y'all have got to start getting on organic social. That's one side of it, but Bobby, you're back.
Sorry, I got kicked off. I apologize.
No, you're totally fine. Go.
Did you hear me say something? The salty donut.
Salty
Then
donut.
then you left. Yes.
All right. I will make this quick. They're in Dallas. They're in Florida. I don't own the salty donut. I have no interest in the salty donut. But if you go on the Salty Donut social, everybody knows what they do. They're a donut company, but every single day they're posting about their donuts. They're reminding their audience every single day what they do for a living. And that's what our schools need to do. And so I force that. I tell my people, remind them, repeat yourself, remind them, repeat yourself. And that's what we do. I think we do pretty good. We don't spend, we probably spend about 4% of our revenue on marketing,
Okay.
which is a lot different than a lot of places.
That is a lot. Okay, ET, what about you when it comes to specifically Vogue? What have you guys had a shift in spend and do this year, maybe compared differently to last year?
Well, I mean, and Frank has been in this business for a long time. And I got to see this with the Long Island Beauty Schools when I was in New York too. But I run a company that is owned by a second generation school owner. Charles Oman opened his first Vogue in 1964 and 1967. And, in the Southwest, Vogue was a household name in terms of cosmetology. And, it was just kind of the name brand. There were 38 locations, and everybody had somebody's mother who went there. So it was all word of mouth advertising. At some point, I think in the 90s, Charles really got into TV commercials. But I think that especially the second and multi-generation school presence has to really objectively take a look and say, hey, am I banking too much on what I think this reputation is? Because the way that people are doing word of mouth advertising now is far different than it used to be. I mean, you'd be, I don't know, at some church event and somebody would hear, oh, well, Susie goes to Vogue. Somebody else would hear, well, people aren't getting together in those same ways anymore. So that's something that we had to take a hard look at Vogue was, were we even really spending money marketing anyway? Or were we depending on this reputation that we had enjoyed for, 60 plus years? And that was a really sobering day to say, okay, we have a lot of competition out there. There are a lot of brand names out there that, we now need to invest in the marketing piece, and we have, and it's making a difference
You
to
see,
say.
that is so relatable to smaller schools, and I see it every day, is that what is harder is it's a lot harder for a school that's hardly ever had to spend money to all of a sudden start spending money,
Yeah.
as opposed to schools who already spend a crap ton of money and be like, okay, fine, just pile on more Google. I understand that's how competition goes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you don't want to wait until it's too late. I mean, that's one thing. I have a very good friend, a school owner in the Southwest. He used to be a NACIS evaluator, second generation school owner, and I just saw it slipping away. The schools are now closed, but it was for this exact problem, and they waited too long to do something about it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that you want to take a look at, and take a look at soon if you haven't already.
The one thing that is true about our industry, it is a lag industry, exclamation point. Just like you said, ET, you're spot on. I mean, stuff you do today may have some effect next year. It doesn't result in, hey, everybody's going to rush to the store and buy all this stuff. Or, hey, we're going to buy the Toyota Corolla this month because there's a Toyota-thon going on. It's a whole different world. And if your friend was looking in the traditional sense of what a business is, thinking, well, we can get around to that. No, you can't. You just said it. I mean, you got to get out there now. Now it's too late. And that's what you told him, and you're spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince, add to this conversation with marketing costs and attracting students.
Yeah. I'll take it a step further. I would venture to say that most owners probably aren't spending enough on marketing costs. Even though you say marketing costs are going up, I'm a huge data and analytics guy. It's like if you're an owner of a school or schools and you're not paying attention to what the data says that you should be spending or what you can spend, then you're just shooting in the dark, right? And so I'm a huge Alex Hormozy guy. If you guys don't know Alex Hormozy, go read his books. He's amazing. But he has a metric that he follows, very foundational metric for marketing cost spend. It's called LTV to CAC. And so that LTV to CAC ratio measures lifetime value of your customer, which is the total amount of revenue or gross profit that you get from one customer or one student divided by your customer acquisition costs, right? Which includes all your marketing and admissions costs, right? And if that ratio is 3 to 1 or higher, you're in a good spot. If it's 5 to 1 or higher, you're probably not spending enough on marketing costs, and you can add fuel or gas to the fire. And
Vince,
so,
what's the name of that book? Someone just asked.
yeah, it's called $100 million Offers. So he's got a series of books, but go $100 million Offers is like foundational for business. So good. Modern business principles too, versus traditional. It's great. But I always look at my LTV to CAC. Like, for example, I'm a loyal customer of Jen, and her team recommended that before peak season, starting in June, that I increase my spend. And so I'll go look at my LTV to CAC, see if it's, 4 to 1, 5 or 1 or more. And if it is, then it's like, yep, increase spend. Let's do it. And so add fuel to the fire if the LTV to CAC is too high. It means it's good. It means like, okay, like gross profit of a student, let's say is 14 grand or 13.8, and customer acquisition cost is $1,300. That means you have like a 6-to-1 LTV to CAC. You can spend more money if you're only spending $1,300 to acquire a new student, right? And so, but also the other end of this, guys, I'm looking at the chat. Some of you are saying, well, unfortunately, spending more money doesn't always convert to, better lead quality or more students. And so the thing you have to look at instead of lead quality too is training on your admissions rep side. And so that's like a hard reality check for a lot of owners or directors is how well are you consistently training your admissions reps and admissions director, looking at their metrics in your CRMs to see, okay, are they hitting their benchmarks? Are their tour show ratios legit? Of the tours that are showing, how many are you getting to apply for FAFSA right there on the spot? How many are enrolling on the spot? How many of your showed tours are actually coming back to enroll after follow-up?
And Vince, we had a hard discussion, you and me, about this not long ago.
We did, because I'm like, Jen, okay, I'm trying to figure out where the balance is between, lead quality and
Yeah.
admission rep
And what do I always
like,
say? If you can get a hold of them, it's a quality lead. If you can get a hold of 60% of your leads, it's good.
and
They're
she's like,
comfortable.
and Jen's like, and to Jen's credit, she's like, dude, your contact ratio is above 70%. You're getting a hold of over 70% of your leads. So if they are converting, dude, that's a training issue on the admission side. So guys, it's not just a spend. Like, look at your LTV to CAC consistently, but then also if you're not measuring, these metrics for your admissions reps, serious training might need to happen.
I'm glad you brought that up because ET, we also had a recent conversation around this.
We did. we had a recent full-blown makeover, I think.
Jen's like, my leads are good. So
Well, it's not, well, and it's not just that, but you have that
you have to do both.
Thank you for sharing your equation there. I always like to look at overall cost per enrollment, and that's something we looked at with ET when it was like, let's look at one of the campuses that doesn't have a lot of students in it. Okay, well, if you want 100 students and you have a 10% conversion rate, you need 1,000 leads, right? So how are you going to get 1,000 leads? Well, how much are you getting organically? And let's look at your overall cost per lead. And it turns out you're just not spending it. And people, this drives me freaking crazy. I will see owners all the time that are like, I'm like, how did you come up with your goals, your start goals? I just looked at last year and I added 10%. I just looked at last year and I added 10%. And I'm like, how is that? What are you doing? Y'all need to start looking at the numbers. What are you realistically enrolling your conversion? And are you giving your reps enough leads to meet those numbers? You cannot expect 100 students if you aren't delivering 1,000 leads. I'm sorry, you can't. It's just, it's not right. Frank, can you share with us in the world of Empire's marketing budget? Have y'all had to up this year? Is that something you've had to consciously do?
Absolutely. I think, and part of it, Jen, you and I have talked about this, and I'm sure everybody here has the same problem. It's not that you don't have people that are just in love with being in cosmetology. I'll focus on cosmetology, obviously, that's what I know. It's not that there's not a lot of people who are interested. It's getting them interested to go to school for it. And also the main thing is, that's great. I'm glad you saw the school. I'm glad you met the people. I'm glad you like everything you saw. Sign here. That's the hard part. It's the fact that they're going through the whole process, and that's never happened to us before in our history. Maybe you guys have had it before. I didn't. If you got them through the school and you had all their questions answered and you're hitting all the right buttons and they still don't start, that's the problem. So that really hit us last year, and we've had to make it up with trying to get more people in the system. At the same time, we're working on that the enrollment to start, and the enrollment to start thing is. And I've talked to a lot of different people. I assume folks on this call have the same exact problem. And we then talked about, well, what's going on out there? And I think part of what's going on is people are really nervous. I look at things in a macro way. And I look at it and I say, if I were a student, okay, tell me what I would think. And if I don't have confidence, remember for a while we had a really great 2 years because Biden's out there talking, I'm going to get rid of everybody's student loan. Don't you worry, you don't have to pay anything back. And I think people were psychologically motivated to go to school. And sadly, I mean, it was all lies, it was all bullshit, excuse my French. But at the end of the day, people just today are thinking this mean old Trump, he's going to make me actually pay my student loan back. And I think that's a factor. That's just my opinion. And at the same time, that the world is shifting to vocational education as being a better career alternative. So those are this dissonance in the market right now. And we've got to find a way as an industry to figure out, hey, you do have to pay your loan back, but here's the good news: you're going to be in a career that you're going to be able to make the money that you can pay your student loan back.
And you're going to go to a school that actually helps you find a job. And those other schools won't do that. Y'all, I just put in the chat what Frank just mentioned is absolutely right when it comes to moving leads from from toured to enrolled. It's one of the biggest challenges right now in schools across the country. I just added the YouTube link for our webinar last month. That's what we covered because that is such an issue with schools. Even my guest who was on there, that's an issue at their school. It's happening everywhere. Thank you, Carla, for your question when it comes to how we can get more leads. These are the areas you want to focus on: organic website and organic social. You have to spend money on Google. I mean, if you want to fill a school, you're going to have to spend some money on Google PPC. I think that's what everyone would say. But there are some free things you can do. And this is what I've been screaming from the rooftops. Get in your high schools and get in high schools as soon as they open back up this fall. And then start a referral strategy. You've got to do a better job tapping into your alum and your current students by getting more organic referrals. And that does not mean during the admissions tour, you're like, hey, thank you so much for coming. Can you write down 5 friends you think that would be great to go? Don't do that. That is, I don't know, Frank, from the 80s? Who knows? It's from a long time ago. And and we can't do that.
Why'd you ask Frank? Why'd you ask Frank?
Yeah, it's messed up.
I got a question for everybody on here. I are what's great is when you do have multiple schools, you can see different metrics. And so I try to keep I try to keep a lead flow of about 35 to 40 leads per rep per week. And I think that's an effective amount of leads that I've seen. I'm curious if you guys have a metric that you pay attention to like that. How many leads per rep is an effective amount?
We don't really look at that. We have 1 rep in each location. We have one bigger location that has 2. That's interesting. I will take a look at that, but we don't actually track it at that level.
Well, Bobby, I have tracked it before. I only have 2 schools, so I only have 2 admissions reps, and I have thousands of leads. My database right now, like of active leads, is like 3,500, and just trying to get them through. Like in the past, I would like hold leads or only reward leads, a certain amount of leads per rep when I had bigger sales teams and bigger call floors. It's like, okay, you really did work these leads as well as you should have. Here's your reward. You can have some more. And actually, you brought that idea back to my mind. Like maybe that is something I should dive into a little bit more and see how we can do it with 2 schools and a ton of leads. So.
And Alicia, who joined our chat, and she is an admissions director for Hollywood and Cortiva, and she says 80 to 100 leads per rep per month is healthy, manageable flow. Because here's the deal: your reps are not just reaching out to new leads. Most of their calendars should be filled with follow-ups. And that's what we talked about on our last web. I mean, it is like, I met with this person. Now I got to follow up 5 times. They used to sign on the spot. They're not doing that anymore. You need to be calling them until you get that ICER in. Like, we're calling them until that FAFSA is done. And that's what should be filling up the calendar. So I do think that, yeah, Elisa, thanks for sharing that. I think that's right. Okay, guys, we are running out of time and I have questions. Give me a one word: up or down. Are we up or down year over year? First 2 quarters are done. 2024 compared to 2025. Bobby is up. What about you, ET? Up or down?
I would say, well, we're now getting closer to even, but I would have said probably last month, trending down a little bit.
Okay. What about you, Vince?
Dude, we were a month similar to ET. We were down about a month ago. We had a hard spring, but we are way up for fall enrollments. Like we're maxing out and starting, second classes for the same start date because fall's really big for us so far.
So yeah, the numbers are coming, right? Like I feel
Yes.
like August and September is always going to be a good class start. Frank,
Yeah.
how are you guys trending over at Empire?
I have the same kind of thing that Vince has. We're looking at a good, healthy fall classes starting this coming month in August. But we had a crappy couple of months. I'm being totally honest with you.
I
And
mean, I appreciate the honesty there.
and no, I mean, I don't think I'm alone either.
On the
Uh,
Yeah.
consulting side, I touch a lot of schools, and it's across the board. It
But
really
but I'm
is.
telling you, I know this sounds weird, but it's the dissonance in the market. I'm telling you, there's two competing things going on, and I think the market has to sort it out.
Hmm.
But I do think at the end, with between what Trump is trying to do and his education department, but also when you have guys like Mike Rowe on TV, and he's really pushing the idea of vocational education. I think, but I don't see and any ever I don't see cosmetology as one of those career choices on those calls or in those different things that they talk about. They don't mention cosmetology.
They
So
don't.
it's electrician, plumber, welder, all that kind of stuff. So I think we as an industry need to get our name, our who we are out front there a little bit more. I really,
I'm with you. We should be a little louder. Another trend that I have been seeing that I'd love to hear from the beauty school peeps on here. Guys, for I mean, I would say like 2018 up to 2023, 24, SD was like creeping up on Cosmo. So everyone was adding SD programs and
because
you didn't
no,
even have to spend money on aesthetics
right.
terms because they were just coming in organically. We saw a shift mid last year where they are not coming in off the street anymore. And on top of that, Cause is now beating SD in a lot of schools. ET, are you seeing that at
Oh yeah.
your?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think, like any hype, we had it before SD barbering really had a surge in this country. And then that sort of plateaued. I think we're seeing sort of the market correction of aesthetics that was always going to happen. And I think, our ability to be nimble and react to that if you have multiple programs, is just absolutely you know, pinnacle concern. But this was always going to happen. We could only, aesthetics as a profession changed. We stopped being just people who were working in an Elizabeth Arden Red Door spa doing spa facials, and we added all of these med spas, people for working for plastic surgeons, stuff like that. And it opened up this great part of the industry, but we as an industry pumped out a lot of graduates in that period of time. And
Yeah,
not only enrollment is slowing, it is getting harder to place those students too,
that's the
which
number one thing I hear too. And I was
In
talking,
SD,
yeah,
yeah,
in
yeah,
SD, in
yeah.
SD specifically. Yeah, that is a challenge. Frank, you don't have SD in all your schools,
No,
correct?
no,
Yeah,
we're rolling it out a lot more, and also a new emphasis on makeup, which is not financial aid, but it also helps us with 90/10 in the big cities. Uh,
yeah.
Talk about the dumbest rules that the United States government has ever foisted on industry is 90/10. Okay, because it says, how dare you take care of the least of us in this society? How dare you do that? Okay, you
Mhm.
got to go into rich suburbs. That's what you got to do. And it's like, no, that's not good public policy. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I think SD unfortunately is we oversaturated because we all ran for it, and I knew it would happen. You
I
see
think that is
these
what
trends come
happened.
and go.
Now, someone in the chat asked about nail tech, and I can tell you, I know a lot of schools dropped their nail programs because they weren't, you couldn't get financial aid for them. A lot of schools dropped them. I can tell you on the beauty schools directory side, it's our third most popular
it's hot.
program. It's hot.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well in nails.
Oh yeah, yeah, we are. We're lucky that we did not, over the years drop that program. I used to work for a school chain that did, and then they have
Yeah,
since brought it back. And it's ironic, with a lot of things. These ladies that roll in to enroll in your nail programs, they've learned all of the nail art stuff on YouTube already. They are there to get that transcript and go take their state board. Hopefully, along the way, we teach them a little bit about safety and sanitation.
Right,
But
I was just talking about that this morning with you. I was like, y'all, people are coming to school to get their freaking license so they can just go to work. They already know that half of them are already doing this crap because of YouTube and because of TikTok. They're already doing their craft. They're just coming here for a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Someone's and then someone had mentioned massage. Massage is dying. I will tell you, like there are more massage jobs open than any other beauty program in the United States. It's one of the fastest growing fields. The problem is no one wants to freaking do it. Like that is a problem today. The combined programs are good because a lot of them offer financial aid if you can't get it for like a certain part of your program. Massage only schools do very well as opposed to like a full beauty school that also has a massage program. But I also see in some areas, like we have a client in Miami, they're doing great with massage. I just, maybe it's the area, but then like I know a lot of other schools, they've actually had to close their massage program. Do you guys know anything on the massage side? No.
We don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what we're seeing. It's and the cost per leads are extremely high there. Guys, what's your single biggest challenge today running a school? What's keeping you up at night? I want to know. Bobby, what do you got? What's your single
Man,
biggest?
that's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a great question. Man, admissions, cash, and career services. That's what I do every day. Recruitment, cash, and career services is what keeps me up every day.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. What do you got, ET?
But that's what we focus on every single day. Those are
Yeah.
the things that we focus on.
I think it's for us, it's somewhat of the inability to plan. We used to just have like one challenge we were facing at a time. Gainful employment was the big bad wolf for a long time, but we had these one-off things that we could still approach, strategic planning for the coming year with this one thing in mind. I mean, in this past year, we've made major headway in legislation with BDR, borrower's defense, with
It's
the
still a threat.
150%. It's still a threat.
Someone just asked
150%.
in the chat about the 150% rule that schools can still offer programs 150% over and get financial aid. Am I right about that?
I mean, if they're currently participating,
Yeah.
I don't know if the department's certifying any new ones currently. They may just be
Okay.
holding off and waiting.
They,
But
they don't have any people, that's why.
well, yeah, I mean, they went from 4,400 employees to 1,100 in one day. So, but
The whole regions are gone. I mean, it's just
yeah. It's difficult to plan for things. Right now, we are a very reactive industry, and we function best when we can be proactive. And there's so much external stuff going on right now that strategic planning is very, very difficult. On any given day, you don't know what the problem is going to be, and that's kind of challenging.
Yeah. What about you, Vince?
For me, it's increasing LTV and combating seasonality. So the thing about this business that's driving me nuts right now, I'm gonna figure it out with the help of all you guys that are smarter than me. But is increasing LTV. Like, in a normal service-based business, you can have your main product or your main offer, and then you have an upsell offer or a downsell offer, and then you have other little things that you can upsell or keep going back to your customers and reselling the same customers. In our business, it's our student comes, pays tuition, graduates, and we never sell them anything ever again. Do you know what I mean? And so that's what's tough. It's like every Monday we're going back to getting more leads to sell brand new students. And
They
it's like,
should
I
be
wish
sending you 15
wish I could
more students.
sell more stuff to the same people, just like in
Yeah.
other service-based businesses. But adding nail tech, that's going to be huge. Like I just figured out, like we're adding our first one in January because I'm already
Right.
getting leads for it. Like the leads I get from you, I get tons, that click cause yes the interest, but then they're like, you guys have nail tech? So I'm already paying for these nail tech leads. It's like, and in Colorado, it's a 600-hour program, so it qualifies for Title
Oh,
IV.
then
So
that is a no-brainer that
That's
you
so it's a
that is a
no-brainer.
no-brainer.
Yeah. So we're adding, so that helps. But yeah, ways
That's
to increase.
very rare. The people that are watching this today, I'm
Yeah.
sure a tiny minority have 600-hour nail programs.
Yeah. So go check. Maybe it's
Yeah, maybe, who knows? But the tendency is taking that number down and not up, unfortunately.
yeah. 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 So
I
anyways,
admire you for that. That's really cool.
I think that's great. And thank you for teaching me that LTV thing. I mean, just when I thought I knew it all, I come on here and y'all have just taught me so much. And that to me was a huge takeaway. I never heard that I never heard that stat. I never heard on how to calculate that. So thanks for teaching me that. I thought that was really cool. Frank, what is keeping you up at night? What is your biggest challenge?
I still say it's the government. Everybody's, everything that was said already, I don't lose sleep over it. It's the stuff that I can't do anything about controlling except working with my congressman and senator and trying my best to weigh in. But guys, and honestly, ET's right. I mean, the bar's defense, what the lawsuits kind of modified that. But at the end of the day, that can, unfortunately, if Gavin Newsom becomes your president in 3 years, God forbid. But if you end up getting a screaming liberal like that going in, it just scares me what they're going to do with. I mean, come on, they literally were saying if you this is a dinosaur killer, guys. If the government, some of the liberals in the government come back and they say, look, if your student doesn't repay their student loan, we're expecting you to pay the government back. Okay, now you're going to say, well, no, I'm serious. There's real people that are really thinking that that's a really good idea. Um, but the bottom line is that's what scares me. And gainful employment, I think it's made us all think more about unemployment. I think that's a really good thing about the employment situation. But it's the thing, guys, that we can't control, and it's the thing that could spin out and literally crush us. So that's why I'm spending a lot more on political contributions. I'm spending more time on the phone with Congress people, and there's some really good people out there that care about our industry. But and there's all kinds of other things like this composite ratio. Those of you who are in the business, composite ratio can crush you every year. And it really is it's a tough thing. It is. So some of those things, and if we don't get it done under Trump, and if we don't get it done under the current majority in Congress, we're screwed.
All
That's
right.
all.
Well, I'm not going to leave us on a bad note because thanks for
Okay,
breaking it
good.
down.
Let's get happy.
Oh.
Let's think happy thoughts. Let's talk about
Gonna end
Backstreet
it.
Boys.
Yeah, let's talk about the fact, y'all, that I just saw the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. It was life-changing. But what
Oh,
we're really gonna end on is I
did
want
you
to
throw your
hear.
panties up on stage or not?
I should have. I was too far up, but maybe if I go back.
All
My
right.
2025 win, I want everyone to end on what is like one of the best things that's happened to you this year with your business. Let's start with you, Bobby.
No, thank you, because I gotta get on this plane. So,
Okay.
uh, I've had a really, really good year. If people don't know my story, I bought my first school 5 years ago, and I bought a school that had 87 students, and I've grown that school to 8 locations plus, the one that we're running here in West Virginia. But we've grown that school to 8 locations. But we've opened four of them this year. So we opened one in Tampa, Orlando, Dallas, and Fort Lauderdale is completed. I'm waiting for my approval from ACCSC, my part two. So man, just such a great year uh, for our growth. So it's been awesome.
That's awesome. And I'm going to be in Fort
Congratulations.
Lauderdale for ACS, for AACS in October. So can I come visit?
We're gonna have the grand opening, so you're invited.
All right. Well, we're all going to
Uh,
come because we're all going to
yeah,
be there. And that is so
everybody.
exciting. I'd love to hear it. All right, you travel safe. ET, give us a win. Your 2025 win.
I think just changing the way that we're communicating with prospective students, and really turning our admissions model on its end. I think we're seeing some significant changes, and I think it's going to be huge by the end of the year.
Love to hear it. What about you, Vince?
Yeah, so I acquired this business about a year and a half ago. And coming in, as a new CEO, you can't really bulldoze the whole place and, say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. You just kind of you put in your feelers, try to get your fingers in every facet of the business in every department and see what's going on, and then see which people are really valuable, and see which ones are willing and able to change and adapt and which ones aren't. And unfortunately, the only thing consistent is change. So the ones that weren't able to adapt and change, we did have to make some tough cuts. People that have been in the company for a long time. And sometimes that's scary, right? It's scary to make cuts, to fire, especially people that have been there for a while and made good contributions. But dude, over the last year since then, it's been a big win to see the new people we've brought on board, the new blood, the new training processes that we have, the new cultures that are in the school, the energy and the vibe of the students after some things we've changed from a culture standpoint, um, and leadership standpoint is just, it's phenomenal. You walk into both of our schools right now, and I love all of our students. I love the energy that they have and what they bring to school every day. And it just feels good walking into our schools again. So that's a huge win for us.
I commend you. You haven't been in this business long, but it's like you've met the right people and you are already connecting with the right companies and the people to help you and to learn from.
Oh, I need to learn from all you guys. It's
I think
been,
that's,
And vice
yeah.
versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's been really nice having you on here to give a different perspective because I think a lot of people do relate to you. They are taking over their family's school. They maybe have like you, like a business or a sales background, and they come in and they're trying to fit that. It's actually funny. Vince sat in my admissions class and he's like, "You teach everything opposite of what actual sales is supposed to be." He was like, "I don't know why this stuff works." We had a whole
Jen was teaching her class at like Axe, I think, and I almost raised my hand and said, Jen, I don't think you're right. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how sales is. But she taught me lessons because she's like, no, Vince, you're used to like selling to middle-aged people. You know what I mean? These are Gen Z, 18-year-old girls. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's very different. And so she's
Completely
taught me a
different.
lot. She's taught
No,
me.
it's great. Yeah, you've been a great asset. Frank, share with us 2025 your win.
What you're saying to me is I was the big Debbie Downer on the last segment, all right? So you want me to try to redeem myself?
Well, in you actually in your defense, I did ask what's keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be
But
a
do you
dead.
think you were going to get a sweet story on a question like that? You're going to get a
Surely you
horror
have
story.
something good you can share with us.
No, mine's very personal to me. We're going through a generational change I'm in my 70s. I know that's hard to believe, but no, I really am. I'm in my 70s. Good Lord has been very good to me with my health and some would argue my mental health as well. But we're going through a change to my son. My son, who spent his entire life in the business, is now taking it over. It's going to be a whole different company because some of the changes he's making, I bite my lip, and it turns out usually he's right. And I'm very impressed because he's way more attuned to that. I want to spend my waning days out in the schools talking to students about success. I built salons. I know what it takes to be successful. And I want to do that. So that's really been helpful for us. One of the biggest things that Kyle, my son, has brought to the table is a way better training department. So we're really doubling down on training and really trying to make it more personal. Guys, whatever money you put into training, I think does come back to you if you have the right trainers, if you have the right program. So that to me, and by the way, you could argue training is like a step back to take two steps forward. And that's what we're doing. And we're experimenting with new things. And we've been working so well with Jen, and she just spoke to our leadership team on admissions and things we should be looking out for. And I thank God. Honestly, during COVID, you guys saved us at Beauty School Directory in so many ways, and I think you're going to be the salvation of the future. Yeah, I think things are going really, really well, and it's going to be a whole new world because of that investment. But I recommend it to everybody. And by the way, one last thing, I'm going to talk about it. Jen knows this. We publish our core values. They're out there. You can see my mission statement, and it's in every classroom, every lunchroom, everywhere in our schools. There's one on every wall of every. There's a wall in every room. And I think if you have your core values, put them out there. Let your students know what's expected of them, what they should expect of us. And it's one of my secrets, and I believe in it, and it's paid off. Uh, I have one. It's across from me because I want to look at it all day, and it's 2x3 and a big frame and the whole bit, and we have it everywhere here. So believe in your core values, put them out there, and if you don't have them published, sit down with your team and make that a real exercise that everybody puts together your core values. You'll be don't go up on a mountain and carve it into a tablet and bring it down. What you got to do is core values have got to be mutually agreed to, and everybody's got to feel a part of them.
I think that's
And,
great. I appreciate you sharing that. The chat loves that as well. Carla says core values should be felt and not just read. So when they are hanging up, it's going to help create the whole culture there. I think that's awesome. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I also want to thank the chat because there was a lot of really good nuggets in there of people sharing what's going on in their school. I want to do one of these, maybe twice a year where we can just get different owners together and discuss sort of like
good idea.
this what's going on in schools because I think that was important. And I appreciate y'all being so vulnerable and honest with what's
By
going
the
on in
way,
your schools.
I'm
Yeah,
presenting, I'm sitting here writing notes down like crazy
look at that.
from learning from my colleagues here. It's been wonderful.
That's great. I
Nice.
love this. Has been so much fun. You can
Thanks,
catch
Jen.
all of us at AACS in October in Fort Lauderdale. We will all be there.
Yay,
Thank
Fort
you all.
Lauderdale.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I've got to tease my webinar next month. So our August webinar, I've been screaming from the rooftops that admissions needs to learn financial aid, right? That's how we're going to get people to enroll in school. So we're doing it, y'all. We are
You have
doing
it
it.
set up yet or not?
Pardon me?
You have the time, the date and time set? You're not.
Now I'm gonna have to look. I do have the date and time set, and we are
I'm
gonna
trying to help you advertise this.
I appreciate it. I wish I had a link to it. We just haven't set it up yet. It is
Okay.
going to be August 28th at the same time, noon central, and we are going to teach admissions folks and everyone how to do a FAFSA and answer all of your FAFSA questions, everything to do with financial aid. So I'm really looking forward to this one because to me, it's just something that admissions needs to learn so that they can help people enroll quicker. So that should be a good one. Mark your calendars for that, and we'll see you guys next month. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Frank. Thanks, ET.
Bye,
Good
guys.
to see you guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Stay.
Absolutely.